Hello everyone, Forristicat here. Today I want to talk a little bit about Godzilla. Now, so this movie has been out for a while, but I thought, once again, got to get my sort of thoughts out there. So, I guess the best way to summarize Godzilla 2014 is that it is a very good action movie, but in terms of a movie overall, it was pretty poorly done. It's mainly because I think that there was no, or there were no characters in the movie to care about. Pretty much, there was a family. They tried to sort of make things cute by throwing a kid in there randomly, stuff like that. I can understand what they were trying to do, but you simply cannot take a situation as insane as that, throw in like a mother, a father, and a kid, and be like, okay, don't worry about it. The people are going to care about this family because they'll just see it's a family situation. It doesn't really work like that. You really need to show scenes in the movie which indicate that yeah, this is a family that care about each other. It's a real family. They've gone through these various experiences together. The stakes are pretty high. And then that's when you introduce the monster, which is oblivious to all that family relationship, which has already been established in the movie. There was none of that establishment, and they say that if you find it hard to describe characters without using anything physical about them, in other words, if you find it hard to describe a character's personality in any piece of fiction out there, then that's an indication that the writers have done a poor job. And obviously, if a story is meant to be good, the story is really only as good as the characters are, because the characters are the main chess pieces within any piece of fiction which is produced out there. So therefore, I think that it was a waste because the action sequences were done like really well. Like there's always going to be an X factor involved with a massive entity which is indiscriminate, oblivious, as I mentioned, to what he or she is doing, and just seeing like buildings just being melted like sandcastles. There's something about that. I think it's because it's really an unstoppable, uncontrollable force which doesn't really have any agenda. I guess similar to I don't know, like the Joker or terrorism. Well, terrorism has an agenda, but there's something scary about just this creature doing things without really having any idea of what they're doing. Like all the creatures are doing are trying to survive. I think the trailer for Godzilla was largely misrepresentation, and I've spoken about this before. Like trailers are always going to put their best foot forward. That's the whole idea of it. But especially in this case, where you've got Bryan Cranston only showing up for like the first quarter of the movie or whatever, and then killing him off. It's like, come on, guys! Like, really, you're going to show me him in the trailer and push forward the idea that he's going to be a central part of the plot and just kill him off, early on. That's a waste, and I think that Bryan Cranston could have been used more effectively. The army dude, makes sense to have this army guy. A little bit thinking why was it so easy for him to join this army? Pardon me, this army team. It's like he just walked up and said, "Yeah, I was in the army once," and then all of a sudden he's involved with the team. That's a little bit unrealistic. Again, the mother and the kid. I mean, once again, these are characters which I don't really care about. Like the scene at the end where the kid is reunited with the mother in the stadium. It's like, that's great. Like I know how I'm meant to feel when I watch scenes like this, but like my brain's searching for reference points. It's like, oh, okay. Actually, I don't know anything about this family. I don't know anything about the history. I don't really know much about their personality. That stuff was not established, and so that scene was not earned. And in large amounts, it was just really eye candy. Like, oh my god, look at this! And fair enough. Don't get me wrong. The action sequences were incredible. Seeing like Godzilla face off against those monsters, as opposed to Godzilla being the central sort of threat, was interesting. The other monsters were very similar to the monsters in Cloverfield, and indeed, I believe that there's a central mythology to how those creatures look. Like they all look in a similar sort of way. Godzilla obviously is humongous but very slow, and having the added feature of these creatures being winged or winged was a smart move, and seeing Godzilla actually go down was, yeah, a little bit sort of, I guess, emotional, which is a testament that, like, once again, the central piece of a character that you care the most about actually ends up being a computer generated Godzilla monster, which actually doesn't exist. So, if I had to summarize it, yeah, action sequences were incredibly, great. Like, obviously, they spent a lot of money doing that stuff, but once again, it's wasted because without having the backdrop of family situations which you care about, which in my personal opinion, I think that has to be really the center of any sort of like monster movie. Like, you have a family that's going about their day-to-day, normal, mundane existence or life, however that may be playing out, and then you have this force which just tears apart their normal day-to-day routine. And unless we see glimpses of that normal day-to-day routine, then it's just not going to work because we're not going to care if the characters live or die. So instead of being like, oh my god, I really don't like that character, I really hope that he doesn't die because of this monster which is coming nearby, you're thinking, oh, okay, if he dies, whatever. So there's no real drama in it, and that's the point of drama, is like thinking, oh my god, I don't really want that thing to happen, or what if this happens? It was mainly like, oh my god, look at all that cool shit that is happening on screen. And that's good for one aspect, but I really think that to hit home as a drama, more instead of an action film, you really do need to set the foundation of the characters up properly, which was simply not done in this movie. And how do you do that? You got to take your time and show normal, I call them down scenes or down to earth scenes, which you can relate to, which people go through every single day. And if you don't have that as a backdrop or a foundation for me to be like, you know what, I can relate to that, I can relate to that, I can relate to that. It's all about connection. It's all about connecting to the characters, realizing where they're coming from, understanding their foundation. So when you throw them into a situation which is ridiculous, like, can't imagine like a monster like that, or monsters actually existing, then you've got something that's worth caring about because you can relate to it. I can't relate to like a mother, father, and a son if they just show me a picture of them without any of these underlining scenes which should have been set up. So I can understand why the reviews were very much divided. I'll give this movie 6.5 out of 10. So Godzilla 2014, a little bit late. Fantastic action movie, but really a waste of what could have been a good drama, simply because they did not give me characters to actually care about. That's it for me today. Have a good day.